social justice for all Indonesians. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our fifth moral principle of Pancasila. But here's the question. Are we really giving social justice for all Indonesians? Isn't it almost like, social justice for all powerful people in real life? Because in fact, people who have powers tend to take other people's rights only to fulfill their own needs and intention, rather than giving them justice. Especially when we talk about indigenous people. There are tons of problems with indigenous rights, and one of them is the expansion of palm oil plantations. So palm oil has high global prices and demand. That means a lot of companies work really hard to plant palm oil in Indonesia, even if that costs our indigenous forests. Proof: in 2013, Kalimantan lost 1.54 million hectares of forest, with 817,000 of it were identified as being converted into palm oil plantations. That data, ladies and gentlemen, is from the Forest Watch Indonesia, and those numbers are still increasing. Based on the Ministry of Forestry and Environment, our palm oil plantation went from 2.3 million hectares at 2009 to almost 16 million hectares in early of 2020. Yeah, seriously, it's getting to be that big. Those numbers are real. This plantation is really taking our forests. Not only that, but this plantation is also affecting the environment around. One of the places that got affected by this plantation is Utak Melina Forest. So there's a tribal figure there named Petrus Aswi. And Petrus said that they were used to plant local plants to sustain their life needs. But after the plantation started, they are getting crop failure over and over again because the pest spray from the plantation is infecting their plants. Petrus also said that they are coping with drought because, since the forests are getting corrupted, the springs are gone. They were used to draw water from nearby river, but now all they can do is just buy water from other places because that river is now polluted and really dirty from the plantation activity. So we can conclude that this plantation is taking more than a half of their land and polluting the rest of it. So simply, this plantation broke the land, nature, and environment that their ancestors preserved greatly. Yet they were told that the reason behind this is to develop economies. Are their conditions showing development? Oh, come on. Everyone knows that it shows setbacks. Even their economy are developing, how can you say that it's a development? No wonder why they're protested, asking for their rights back. And that protest, ladies and gentlemen, is building up a new question. A question on how are we just protecting the rights of indigenous people in developing economies. But here, I want to twist that question into how are we developing economies without taking the indigenous people's rights? Because I believe if we can find other ways to develop economies without taking their rights, then the companies or anyone else won't have any slightly bit chance to bring in any full promises. So in my opinion, the best way to do that is to let them run their own economy. We shouldn't try so hard to bring in any modern economy to their place, but instead we need to give them chance to adapt with our modern economy and then let them build their own modern economy at their place. For example, last month I went to Pajak. I went to a tourist village there that was run by the village managers themselves. So there, the peoples are as actually the same, things like selling, gardening, and stuff. But because of some slight bit of changes, that village become more and more interesting for the customers, and their income just went soar. So it just showed that they're able to survive themselves, right? All we need to do is give them the chance and direct them about how to do this and that in the modern economy. Second, the government also needs to work on the tribal land law to protect their rights on preserving their own land. Not only that, but the local government also needs to be active as well on helping them to protect their land. At least they can help them to accomplish their property rights in law. When they got their property rights, they are able to protect their land from getting used by anyone else without their consent. So if any company wants to take their land, the company and the government need to include the indigenous people on the discussion to get a mutual agreement. The company needs to ensure that their activity won't suffer the indigenous people. So one of the places that have nailed to do this is Bali. Well, we all know that Bali's culture is just really amazing, yet their economy is insane. That's because Bali has this, well, we can say regulation that's giving the chance to all the local people in Bali to build their own economy. So simply, non-Balinese aren't allowed to build any startup in Bali. Or if they want to do so, they need to collaborate with a Balinese and let that Balinese to be the owner of that startup. Bali also have this tour stuff that introducing their culture to other people. So even though the indigenous people started to get in touch with modern economy and modern life, they are still holding their culture so dear. Ladies and gentlemen, that is why I believe this is the best way to do that. That is why I believe the really best way to do this is not only protecting their rights, but also giving them chance to feel, to adapt, and to live alongside with the modern economy themselves. Because if Bali is able to survive, then I believe anyone else is able to survive as well. All we need to do is give them the chance. So ladies and gentlemen, that's my view on this topic. Thank you very much for listening to the very end. I'm Holly, and I'll see you next time. Bye!